It was a chilly Thursday night when I got home earlier than usual. I'd planned a quiet dinner to surprise my wife. Things between us had felt distant lately, and I hoped a simple act might reconnect us. As I stepped through the front door, I heard her voice from the other room. She was on the phone. I didn't make a sound, just stood there for a moment listening. What I heard tore something inside me. She was laughing, her tone carefree, saying, "Honestly, my ex was better than him in every way." I froze. She hadn't noticed me yet. But when she did, the color drained from her face. She quickly ended the call and started to explain, fumbling for words, but I didn't need to hear any of them. That one sentence echoed in my head like a drumbeat I couldn't silence. I asked her a single question. "Is that really how you feel?" She didn't answer right away. And in that pause, I found all the truth I needed. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I just grabbed my wallet and keys and walked out. She didn't come after me. That night, I found a cheap motel and stared at the ceiling for hours, trying to understand how the woman I'd loved for 6 years could tear me down so effortlessly. We had built a life, shared dreams, fought through tough times, stayed up late imagining our future. I'd made sacrifices, given so much of myself just to make her happy. And in the end, none of it seemed to matter. The next morning, my phone buzzed with her messages. First casual, then frantic. "It was a stupid joke," she said. "Please come back. We need to talk." But I couldn't bring myself to respond. All I felt was rejection, like I'd been replaced, discarded. My confidence had been shattered. Around noon, she came to the motel. I didn't open the door. I stood behind the curtain and watched her knock, tears on her cheeks. She waited, sitting on the floor just outside my room for what felt like forever. Eventually she left. And still, I couldn't feel sorry for her. Some things once said can't be taken back. Later that day, I went to see my brother. He's always been blunt, no sugarcoating. I told him everything. He didn't react with surprise, just looked at me and said, "If she really meant that, then she never respected you in the first place." It stung, but I needed someone to say it out loud. That evening, she came back again. This time, she was holding an old photo album, and she wore the hoodie I'd bought her on our first trip together. I didn't answer right away, but when I heard her voice, soft, broken, calling my name, I hesitated. "Please," she whispered. "Just listen." I opened the door, only a little. She burst into tears the moment she saw me. "I was angry," she said. "Jealous. I said something terrible just to hurt you, but it wasn't true. He means nothing to me. You're my home." I let her speak, but I didn't offer comfort. Not this time. She needed to see the wall her words had built between us. When she finished, I said, "It doesn't matter if it was true. You still chose to say it. That's not love. That's selfish." She wept harder, promising to do anything to fix what was broken. I returned home the next day, but only to gather my belongings properly. I told her I needed time, space, and that she shouldn't reach out. She agreed, though her eyes begged me to stay. As I packed, she stood in the hallway, silent tears running down her face. There were no more dramatic scenes, no pleading, just the heavy stillness of regret. The weeks that followed were a mix of emotions. Some mornings I missed her. Others I felt relieved. I began going to the gym again, diving into work, reconnecting with friends I'd pushed away. Gradually, I felt like myself again, or perhaps someone stronger. She reached out occasionally. A voicemail on my birthday. A message when something reminded her of me. But I never replied. I realized I needed peace more than I needed her apologies. Months slipped by. I didn't go back. She tried everything, therapy, letters, talking to friends we both knew. But trust, once broken, doesn't rebuild itself overnight. I was no longer the man who once waited by the door with flowers. And she wasn't the woman I once trusted with my heart. Sometimes, love doesn't end in a scream. It ends in a quiet, painful understanding that you deserve more. I didn't hate her, but I had finally learned to love myself enough to let go.